With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Nocturnal is a high-action horror thriller and a love letter to classic 80s buddy cop movies. Written by #1 New York Times bestselling author Scott Sigler, Nocturnal is a complete season with 45 episodes available wherever you get your podcasts.
Why do people get married? For stability? For security? For happiness? For love? Since the dawn of civilization, humans have been legally binding themselves to one another in this age-old ritual. Some lucky few stumble upon the one, their perfect match. But for others, their happily ever after has a much darker ending. I'm Wilhelmina Grimald, and this is The Vanishing Rose. April 21st, 2023 was the last time anyone saw Rosalie Miller. On that day, she kissed her father goodbye and left home to meet her fiancé, Emerald Prescott, the only son of Kenneth and Bunny Prescott. If those names don't sound familiar, let me educate you. The Prescotts are the owners of Prescott Farms, one of the most successful horse farms in the world. The two lovebirds, Emerald and Rosalie, had planned a weekend getaway at Emerald's vacation home in North Carolina. They never went on that vacation because Rosalie never made it to Emerald's home. After 2 days of searching, Rosalie's car was found in the brush in an abandoned field a mile away from the Prescott farm. Her suitcases were gone and nothing was found in the car. No fingerprints, no fibers, no sign that she or anyone else had been there. Emerald was investigated, many suspecting a lover's quarrel gone horribly wrong, yet no charges were ever filed. In fact, Emerald never stepped foot in a police station. Rosalie has been missing for 1.5 years. Many believe she's dead. There are a few who hold out hope.
Maureen, my wife, died when Rosie was 6 years old. Cancer. Her mother and father helped us as much as they could while she was alive, but the medical bills were overwhelming.
Raymond Miller, Rosalie's father, lives alone in a modest home on the outskirts of Lexington, Kentucky.
Rosie and I couldn't afford to stay in California. We ended up moving to Kentucky where I could find work and afford to live. Even after I moved, I still had to work very hard to make sure Rosie had a good life.
And you thought that good life involved a husband?
Yes. I know that sounds archaic or misogynistic or whatever you want to call it, but I spoiled her as much as a man of my means can. I did everything for her. I never gave her a chance to figure out life. And I knew the only way that she would survive without me was with a person who would take care of her. In my eyes, that was a good husband.
You said that? A good husband.
The audacity.
Jacob and Beth Palamo, Rosalie's grandparents, believe that Raymond moved Rosalie to Kentucky to get away from them.
He never trusted us, not fully.
Why would you say that?
Even before Maureen passed, we offered to take care of Rosie, take her in so Raymond could focus on caring for our daughter and have the strength to get back on his feet. He would not even entertain the idea.
We could provide for her, make sure she had the life she deserved. He said we were trying to steal her away. We would never do that.
Working 2 jobs, Raymond was able to keep food on the table and a roof over his and his daughter's head. But, as he said, all he did wasn't enough for Rosalie. He wanted more for her. And that involved finding her a husband. While many young women who were looking for love might turn to a friend or maybe an online dating service, Rosalie had no close friends, and Raymond wouldn't dare let his little girl meet strangers online.
One of my jobs was bartending at the Zerta Country Club. Being an employee, my family was allowed limited membership, so I encouraged Rosie to attend as many events as she was allowed. I wanted her to be around the right type of people. It sounds so asinine coming out of my mouth now, but a part of me doesn't regret it. She deserved to get a glimpse into that sort of life.
Was this where she met Emerald?
Yes. I saw them talking at the club a few times. I knew who he was. Everyone did. She started getting excited about going to events because he would be there. About a year after they began dating, he proposed.
A year? That's fast.
You sound like Kenneth.
You're referring to Kenneth Prescott, Emerald's father?
Yes. He didn't approve of them together. I knew he didn't think my baby girl was good enough for his only son, but love is love, right? I remember when she brought him home for the first time. I was a little wary. This man stealing my little girl's heart. But he won me over too. He was such a gentleman, and so very kind to her. I had a feeling that he was the one. I could see it in her face. He even asked my permission to propose. Excuse me a moment.
Did you like the Prescotts?
We never met them, just know them by reputation and what Raymond has told us.
Were you comfortable with Rosalie and Emerald's relationship?
Not exactly.
Emerald Prescott did have his name in the news for the wrong thing sometimes.
When we asked Raymond about that, he wrote it off as dumb teenager stuff, but people still do dumb things in their 20s.
Do you blame Raymond for what happened?
I did, but not anymore. He's hurting as much as we are, and laying the blame at his feet isn't worth it.
We obviously went through a period of blaming him. Why would he not investigate this man before letting his daughter be in a relationship with him? But then I realized we didn't do that when our daughter met him.
Do you think Emerald loved Rosie?
I don't think he did. Rosie is very beautiful and very naive. I think that's all he saw. A pretty girl that he could control.
Do you think he's to blame for Rosalie's disappearance?
If not him, someone in that family did this. Even before the police stopped searching, Emerald was on a plane to Morocco.
A non-extradition country?
Exactly.
You believe he ran away to Morocco.
What else would you call it? He never joined a search party. His family is richer than half of Kentucky combined. Why was there never a reward or anything? Emerald, maybe even his parents, are hiding something.
Prescott took my granddaughter away, and no one can convince me otherwise.
It feels like everyone has given up, but not you.
I hope you get to the bottom of this.
We've listened to your other podcasts. We trust that you'll find our granddaughter.
The Prescott estate is a beautiful place. This is my third visit, but only my first time past the front gates.
Miss Grimald, please come in. I'm Miss Prescott's personal assistant. She's waiting for you in the library.
Oh, Rosalie was lovely. A beautiful girl who was always so very nice. You would never know that her father was the help.
Emerald's mother, Elizabeth Prescott, better known as Bunny, finally agreed to speak with me. Her husband, Kenneth, is out of town. I don't believe these two incidents are coincidental.
I'll admit that Kenneth, and I as well, were taken aback when Emerald said he was proposing. We thought it was a bit early. Making a choice like that should take time. Kenneth wouldn't give him his grandmother's ring. He said it was tragic, what happened to Rosalie. I don't think Emerald will ever be the same. His first love and all.
Is that why he fled to Morocco?
Fled? Oh, no, dear. Kenneth sent Emerald to Morocco. He was so distraught over Rosalie because, of course, he was. He adored her. Kenneth thought it best that Emerald get away from the chaos.
Your husband sent Emerald to Morocco.
Yes, Emerald didn't want to go, but Kenneth insisted. I personally think it's been good for him, even though he does call to see when he can come home. Kenneth thinks he needs more time, to recover from this tragedy.
Mrs. Prescott, do you believe Rosalie is dead?
Sadly, yes. There's no way Rosalie and Emerald were in love. He told me that many times, and I could see it on their faces. They truly loved each other.
There's no way she what, Mrs. Prescott?
Pardon me?
You were going to say something else. What were you going to say about Rosalie? Mrs. Prescott, it's all right to speak to me. I promise.
This was a mistake. I think we should go.
Mrs. Prescott! Secrets lurk in every family tree, but some run deeper and darker than others. Bunny Prescott is consumed by those secrets. But that's not what I believe silenced her today. I think her silence, her fear, comes from the person to whom those secrets belong.
Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to turn your vehicle around.
Is Mr. Prescott here?
No, ma'am, you're not welcome. I will call the police.
Miss Grimald, why won't you leave my family alone?
Mr. Prescott, it's nice to finally meet you.
You need to leave.
I only have a few questions, and then I won't bother you again. I promise.
Chris, take a break.
But, sir, I think I should...
I told you to take a break.
Yes, sir. Of course.
You need to leave my family alone. My wife hasn't been well since your visit. She keeps asking for Emerald, but he does not need to be back here. He'll just worry her more.
Is that why you sent him to Morocco?
He needed a distraction. He was obsessing about that girl, and it was upsetting everyone.
That girl's name is Rosalie Miller.
I know her name, Miss Grimald.
How did you feel about their relationship?
I'm not here to be interviewed. I'm here to tell you, face to face, to leave my family alone. To leave this entire situation alone. If you keep going, I promise you'll regret it.
Standing outside that massive iron gate watching Kenneth Prescott march away from me, one question came to mind. Were the police investigating the wrong Prescott? Is Emerald a victim too?
Kenneth? I can't say I know him well. He and Bunny threw a lavish engagement party for Rosie and Emerald. I think that's the longest I've been in the same room with the man.
What was your impression of him?
He was... nice?
You're not sure?
Well, just because I was in the same room with him doesn't mean we were deep in conversation. He did come over and ask my opinion of Rosie and Emerald getting married. I told him I was a little worried at first, but I could see the love. That's when he told me he thought a year was too fast. I knew what he really meant, though. He didn't want my lower-class family to become part of his.
It's not so unbelievable that Kenneth Prescott was concerned about his son's romance with Rosalie Miller. As the sole heir to $1 billion empire, marriage is about more than love to the Prescotts. It's about maintaining their legacy. Why did Kenneth Prescott send his son to Morocco? Would his obsession with preserving the family's legacy drive him to tear Emerald and Rosalie apart forever? Would his obsession with preserving the family's legacy drive him to tear Emerald and Rosalie apart forever? I'm not so sure about that last line. I need to talk to Emerald. I have to figure out how to get in touch with him. Maybe if I get Bunny's schedule, I can...
Miss Grimald, open the door.
I know you're in there, Miss Grimald. I heard you.
I need you to leave, Mr. Prescott.
I'm not leaving until you open this door.
What do you want?
Open the door or I will open it for you.
I'll call the police.
Or tell them what? That I knocked on your hotel room door?
That you're harassing me.
You've been to my house no fewer than 10 times in the last few weeks. Who's harassing whom, Miss Grimald?
Why are you here?
I need to tell you this face to face because it's your fault. My wife is dead.
Bunny Prescott died early in the morning on October 1st. She was only 61 years old. Her husband found her and immediately called 911, but there was nothing anyone could do. The news said it was a heart attack. Was it really a bad heart? Or did the weight of Bunny's secrets consume her so thoroughly that she met an early demise?
Wilhelmina Grimald, I presume?
And you are?
Apologies. I forgot I was wearing the hat and glasses.
Emerald Prescott.
In the flesh.
I thought you were in Morocco. What are you doing here?
My mother died. I had to come home.
Right. Of course.
What are you doing here?
I'm paying my respects.
From way over here?
Your father wouldn't appreciate me being any closer.
Ah, yes. Dear old Dad. Say no more, I understand.
This might not be an appropriate time, but I would like to interview you if you're willing.
What are you doing here?
Mr. Prescott, I'm so sorry for your loss.
You need to leave.
Dad, it's fine. She's my guest.
Emerald, what are you doing here?
Mom died, and I had to find out from fucking social media. Let go of me.
You shouldn't have come back.
I didn't get to say goodbye.
None of us did. If you think you're coming to the house, think again. And you, I told you to stay away. Leave. Now.
Meet me at Zenyatta Country Club tomorrow, 8 o'clock. I'll treat you to dinner and that interview. Without my father around.
Okay.
You should probably go.
My condolences.
Thank you.
Emerald Prescott, 24. The only son of Kenneth and Bunny Prescott, and currently the COO of Prescott Farms, one of the most successful horse farms in the world. And before getting engaged to Rosalie Miller, he was one of the most infamous playboys in the U.S. He and his friends were notorious for getting into all sorts of trouble that Emerald's parents would always get him out of.
Not a fan of filet? I usually order rare, but if you need a new one, I can
I'm not really hungry.
So, are we just gonna sit here awkwardly, or do you have questions? I mean, beyond asking about the club and small talk shit.
Before we begin, why did you decide to talk to me?
Because I find you interesting.
You don't even know me.
You are Wilhelmina Grimald, journalist turned true crime podcaster. You've helped 2 people prove their innocence and aided in the arrest of another. Who wouldn't want to talk to someone as interesting as you?
It's nice to know my reputation precedes me. Do you mind if I record this?
Go right ahead.
Before getting engaged to Rosalie Miller, you were considered one of the most infamous playboys in the country.
Well, everyone has to settle down at some point.
And you chose a bartender's daughter.
Is there something wrong with that?
No. Did you love her?
Yes. And I still love her.
Does that mean you believe she's still alive?
I'm slowly coming around to the idea that I may never see her again.
Why didn't you ever look for her?
Dad said that I would get in the way and inconvenience people. He said that a lot about me, that I was an inconvenience.
I take it you and your father don't have a great relationship?
No. But I am his only child, so he's stuck with me.
Was the strain because of Rosalie?
Well, he was never my biggest fan, but my relationship with Rosalie didn't help. He felt my feelings for her to be inappropriate. His word, not mine.
Inappropriate? Because of her social status?
No. My father isn't like that. His parents built this business from the ground up. He believes in a person, not their wallet.
Then why did he feel you and Rosalie were inappropriate?
He didn't think that I should be with someone so soft, to use his word.
Soft?
Innocent, naive. Rosie was smart, loved the horses and the outdoors, a brilliant singer. God, I loved her voice. But she didn't have much in the way of street smarts, as some would say.
Would you say your father has a temper?
With me? Yes.
Did he ever direct his temper towards Rosalie?
I do remember her being upset after a particular dinner. She wouldn't tell me why. I think he may have said some words then.
Why do you think Rosalie's car was hidden so close to your house?
She was coming to see me.
And when she didn't show up, what did you do?
I called her. Got no answer, and then I went out looking for her.
But you didn't call the police?
No.
Why not?
My father advised against it.
And why is that?
Maybe we can take this outside. Have dessert and some Riesling. The munch-off is great with a key lime pie.
I don't drink when I'm working.
Drink or no drink, I think we'd have more privacy outside. I'd be more inclined to answering your questions. Especially the ones you're not asking.
Key lime pie sounds great.
Perfect. Miss Grimald and I are going to have 2 slices of the key lime pie and a bottle of the munch-off Riesling.
Of course, sir.
This is so much better, isn't it? No one to listen in on our conversation?
Sure. May I start recording again?
Of course.
You said your father was against you contacting the police. Why?
Well, because Rosie and I had a disagreement. The trip to the coast was my apology.
Your dessert, sir, madam, and the bottle of Riesling.
Thanks.
Would you like me to pour?
No, I'll take care of that, thank you.
My pleasure. Can I get you anything else?
I'll call when I need you. Until then, no more interruptions.
Of course. Enjoy.
So, about the disagreement.
You have to try the pie, it's sinful. Right? So good.
Yes. Quite delicious.
Oh, did it go down the wrong way? Here, have a drink. The Riesling is excellent, right?
It's good.
Oh, it's my favorite. They keep it in stock just for me. I wasn't sure if they'd still have any.
I'm sure they keep some on hand just in case.
I guess so.
What was the disagreement?
Oh, yes. Well, it was about children.
Rosalie was pregnant?
No. Rosie was upset because I was talking about our future and our large family, and she said she didn't want children. I got very upset, and we had some words.
And...
Are you okay?
I just... Well, there must be something caught in my throat. Excuse me.
Hey, take your time. Maybe another drink?
So, you thought a trip to North Carolina would help. What, change her mind?
No, I knew it wouldn't. But I knew that she always wanted to go to the Barrier Islands, so I said I'd take her. But I wasn't going to take her to the Barrier Islands. I wasn't going to take her anywhere but the cellar.
I'm sorry. I must have misheard. I don't feel so good.
Well, that could be due to the poison in your wine glass.
The what?
The poison, Wilhelmina. The same I gave to Rosie. Well, I gave her less. I wanted her to be awake when I started cutting her up. I really did love hearing her voice. But she didn't even scream. Just silent tears down her face before she passed out. Chopped her up and had the parts buried God knows where. It's amazing the services an absurd amount of money can buy with these days. Including the server spicing up your wine before we got out here.
I thought you were your father.
Really? Dad? He couldn't even put a lame horse down. He knew. I made the mistake of hiring someone who worked for him. And people are very loyal to dear old Dad. But he wasn't going to risk his legacy. So he simply sent me away.
Why did you kill her?
Dad and I rarely see eye to eye, but we agree on one thing. Legacy trumps all. It's not just important, it's vital. In our world, the name you leave behind is the only currency that truly matters. And Rosalie didn't want to give that to me.
Why? Me?
Because you are far too clever. You already figured out that my father was hiding something, and I knew you'd figure me out eventually. I can't let that happen. Ever. Goodbye, Wilhelmina.
This has been The Vanishing Rose, an Observer Pictures production, especially made for the 11th Hour Audio Challenge. Featuring the voices of
Courtney Hawley as Wilhelmina Grimald,
Owen McCuen as Emerald Prescott,
Karim Kronfli as Raymond Miller,
Serena Marie Smith as Beth Palamo,
Matthew Boudreau as Jacob,
Stef Howerton as Bunny Prescott,
Brad Oxnam, Kenneth Prescott,
William Candelaria, guard,
Danny Cooper, the assistant,
Kyle Nishimura, the server.
sound design by Joshua Suhy, music by Michael Parkhurst of the Arkham Horrors, and written and directed by me, Faith McQuinn. Some stories end, but the terror never does. Thank you for listening.
If I play you something, will you promise not to tell anyone about it?
What is it?
There's a thing in the sky. You've got to get someone down here quick. It's fucked. It's moving. It's buzzing. It's getting closer, I think.
I need to talk to someone senior.
Putting you through now.
Don't put me. It's getting louder. I can feel it. I can feel it inside my head.
Listen to Hovering, the latest fiction horror show on Realm's premier horror channel, Undertow. Hovering is available now wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to speak of them or talk about them or in any way portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like, it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out Real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.